welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're going to look at a mono black deck. But first, let me introduce some things about the deck. This deck comes from something I've started doing on Twitch called the Color Pie Challenge. I once said to somebody who wanted to know the best deck for getting 7 wins in constructed events in Arena was, and I said that any color combination could get 7 wins in events in Arena. Well, I've decided to make a fun series out of proving what I say, putting my money where my mouth is by trying to win a 7-game event, it's first to 7 wins or 3 losses. The quick constructed event is what it used to be called. Now it's just called, I don't know. But anyway, those get to 7 best of 1 events. I'm trying to win one of those with every color combination in the game, and I'm keeping track of the decks that win. Right now we've made it a little ways in the color challenge, but I thought, why not let YouTube in on the fun? We're not doing colorless before any of you make that joke. No need. Stop typing in comments right now. Stop it. We're not doing colorless. It's not a color, but we will do all of the monocolors, all of the guilds, all of the shards, the tricolors, that is, all of the Nephilims, that is, the 4-color combinations, and we'll even do some 5-color. But let's start on black. So, bet on black, they say, but black as the starter was quite honestly super challenging. We had to take multiple runs at it. Black doesn't have an amazing early game or an amazing late game in the current format. Most other colors and decks have an engine that they can fall on, and black really doesn't. The best thing you can do with big mana in black is Josu Vess Lich Knight. We tried a lot of versions with Cabal Stronghold to make a ton of mana, but without Torment of Hailfire in the format anymore, what did you do with all that mana? Usually you died to something on the opponent's side. But eventually we found a mono black control-ish list that was decent against red decks and Golgari decks and could still do some Josu Vess shenanigans when the mana got high and the game got later. And we wanted some better lands, so Memorial to Folly proved great, where Cabal Stronghold was very meh. Dreadshade got completely cut, which is pretty bad considering the signpost like tricolor rare from Dominaria wasn't good enough for the mono black deck. But then Arch of Orazca, Field of Ruin do give the lands more utility. Having a Doom Whisperer can also win random games. Arcane Encyclopedia, it feels weird, but this deck, surprisingly, this did better than more gateways and treasure maps, did better than other weird things we tried like Chaos Wand. Just getting ahead on cards seems to be the priority, and if this deck can sit back and do that for a while, it has great 1-for-1 spot removal, it has some decent sweepers, and it can do some work. Alright, let me go show you some best of 1 games, and hopefully you enjoy it. Alright, we have a tap land for turn 1, turn 2 nothing, turn 3 Golden Demise, turn 4 Karn. We're on the play. Given the Golden Demise into Karn, I believe that makes this hand a keep even without a 2-mana spell. So, opponent, what do you think of your hand? Ah, you like it. Shall we play the magic? Battle. Battle, battle, battle. Got a deep thinker. Come on. Close the tab with Reddit. Pause the YouTube video. Tell your kids to go play in the other room. Get your drinks and snacks. Got a game to play here. Don't leave me here alone, making awkward conversation with the internet. Oh, white mana. All right, I have another swamp. What else do you have? It's hard to talk much about strategy when we don't even see much coming from the opponent's side of the board yet. But I am recording this the day after mono white and mostly white aggressive decks dominated Pro Tour Guilds of Ravnica, I wouldn't be surprised if our opponent brought along some white or Boros shenanigans, and there is a heck of a threat, the Adanto Vanguard. Is it worth our Golden Demise all by itself? Possibly. If our opponent plays another creature, it may be very hard to play our Karn into it. However, if they don't, are we willing to take 6 damage to play Karn? I think I will wait. I will try to get a little bit of value out of Golden Demise. Our opponent may follow up with a History of Benalia. That would be a good card to demise away. So now the question is, do we play Karn? If the opponent had a pump spell or a burn spell, Karn could die. However, if they don't have those things, Karn goes to 1, and then Golden Demise can catch all of their cards. Karn isn't that big of a deal, and if it's dead, that's not that bad either, because Eldest Reborn can bring Karn back.
I advise that you yield.
Karn being a bit of a fog effect, a bit of a value engine to make sure that we draw more land, there's nothing wrong with that. Then we can run Plaguecrafter Memorial to Folly nonsense. And let's see if our opponent has some giant angelic follow-up here. A Pride Mate, yes. Please, as long as they don't gain life, this looks juicy. Absolutely juicy, my friends.
Only hurt yourself.
Karn down to 1 means Karn is definitely going up, but let's do this and make our opponent make the choice before they see the Golden Demise.
How convenient. An excellent choice.
Which card may I have? Both are fine. Cast down and a follow-up Karn. Our opponent selects the cast down. I wonder how likely it is that I'll get a creature I wish to cast down, especially if they know that I have the cast down in my hand. It seems very unlikely, and that's worth calculating for whether we play an untapped land or a tapped land. So since it's unlikely I will get to cast something down, since our opponent knows about it, I will play the tapped land, and I will play the Golden Demise. Ruh-roh. I love how the music even like froze for a moment to process the devastation that was occurring. Vanguard. Well, Experimental Frenzy. Oh no. Well, that could get very interesting, as our opponent can now play cards from the top of their library. We can tick Karn down to get a treasure map. We can tick Karn down to get another Karn. I like using Plaguecrafter to kill off the Vanguard. I don't know if Plaguecrafter will have a big role anytime soon, and I like keeping my spells to kill smaller things. So that does leave us mana to play a treasure map and scry with it. So let's go get the treasure map. Let's play the Plaguecrafter. Sacrificing Plaguecrafter. We could also sacrifice Karn, but I am fine with Karn hanging around for a minute. We'll need to keep up with this frenzy somehow. We don't have a way to remove it, so we need to overpower it, which may be very challenging, but we'll need to hit a lot of land drops, and we will need to see a lot of cards. Conclave Tribunal. Off the top, taking down Karn or the map? The map. Let's have a look. Another Vraska's Contempt. I don't know how good this card will actually be against this opponent. It's hard to say it will ever be bad, but I believe I need to find Eldest Reborn and, like I said, more powerful things. Josu. We need to probably make our march towards Josu and a bunch of tokens is a good way to get far in the game. We drew another treasure map. That's never too bad. So this turn we can play the Encyclopedia and the treasure map and be set up to draw a lot of cards in the future. I do like it. We don't draw a card with the Encyclopedia this turn, but we have a lot of ways to generate value into the future. I marked my upkeep for a stop because I may want to scry twice with my map, depending what we see. And our opponent might have double landed off of Experimental Frenzy here, which, when you hit 2 lands in a row, the Frenzy takes a pause, but every turn that the Frenzy keeps going is more and more dangerous. Eldest Reborn. It can get back Karn. From the opponent, none of those things are a big deal for us. I think the most important thing I can do is keep kind of stomping towards Josu. However, when I don't have much to do with my mana this turn, perhaps an Eldest Reborn isn't bad. We do have a lot of removal. I think I will continue working on finding my way to Josu, which can overpower this board no matter what Frenzy does. It's one of the only good ways to compete with a situation like this. And for that reason, I'm still bottoming cards that I think I'd normally be keeping. Another Golden Demise could turn out excellent if the opponent has a huge Frenzy turn, but they are all small. Let's keep working up with Karn. Although making a construct doesn't seem too bad in the near future. I don't want to suicide Karn to do it.
You may regret that choice.
And hitting land drops is very important. Because, yeah, Josu. We're up to 8. Let's try drawing with the Encyclopedia now. We might draw a playable, something we want to have available on the battlefield. Another Golden Demise. Okay, well, we've got ways to deal with creatures for a long time. There's some very good spot removal cards on the bottom. I just don't think that this matchup is about spot removal. I think this matchup is going to be about this Frenzy going nuts. And there is a Banefire 4/3 off the top of the deck, killing Karn.
Please do not do that.
It was nice to know you, Karn. Sounds so annoyed. Please do not do that. And that's going to be it. Our opponent having Frenzy issues. The Frenzies aren't going deep. Upkeep Scry. Still no to the spot removal of Plaguecrafter. I'm much more interested in Eldest Reborn now, but I'd prefer to draw it straight up. Okay, well, we've got a full grip. I could miss a land drop, but I don't want to discard any of these cards. I'm sure that my opponent isn't just a big burn deck. They have a ton of creatures, and I'm sure they're going to come out any second. Our opponent also has a full grip, so blowing up Frenzy, I'm sure that they might consider it soon. History of Benalia off the top. Anybody else off the top? Well, let's draw a card. See what we draw. We're waiting on the opponent's priority with Experimental Frenzy. Okay, Duress. That's a pretty funny one when the opponent can't play cards from their hand. Anyway, I'm tempted. So here's the thing. I'm tempted to start using my cards. Otherwise, they're going to continue to pile up in my hand. I want to save the Demise for a big Frenzy turn. I think that gaining life might be a good priority if my opponent's really leaning on Mega Banefires. So being mana efficient and spending a Vraska's Contempt there feels right, but I'm not positive it is. All right, I will open the festivities with a Duress. We may as well see what's in this hand. Justice Strikes and Heroic Reinforcements. The reinforcements can go, otherwise a lot of land. So not a great hand and not a lot of burn cooking up in there. I think I'll say go and then draw cards during my opponent's turn so I don't have to discard and know all of my options when I find out what I'm facing for next turn. But the fact that our opponent has heroic reinforcements is pretty scary. When they can reveal that with a frenzy, it's a lot of pain out of nowhere, potentially. Settling the wreckage, targeting me. Okay, they are playing that just to remove it from the top of the deck. And here's the bug. We can't actually get anything, but as you see, Josu lurking in the deck. 2 of them. Gotta get there. Did that shuffle? Yeah, we got a shuffle, so I got to shuffle back in that Eldest Reborn and some of those removal spells. That's not a bad thing. End turn. Let's draw some cards. We're on 9 lands, so I'm comfortable sacking some of my treasures. Okay. Opponent's a thinker. Or they just, like I said, have the Reddit open, the YouTube video playing, the kids messing around in the room. And again, we're on end step. Our opponent only has 1 creature. It's really tempting to keep using these. Especially when I have Plaguecrafters and Golden Demises. Even if my opponent pulls out an Ajani, I can Plaguecraft it away. Plus gaining the life is good, using all my mana is good. So I want to keep that coming. It's easier to leave up mana for cast down in the future than it is to leave up a Vraska's Contempt, even as we are accumulating more and more mana. So now I might have to discard, so I may as well use a Duress and take a Justice Strike away, or a Lava Coil. Lava Coil exiles, but Justice Strike takes out Doom Whisperer, so I will go for the Justice Strike. We only have 1 Doom Whisperer, that's not a huge deal to us, but you never know. Benalia goes off to no applause. So where is your life gain, opponent? They use Pride Mate, but I just don't see life gain. A second Frenzy to get it off the top means that their hand is getting really locked down. And I think I will Plaguecraft away this creature, rather than use my cast downs because of heroic reinforcements still being in their deck somewhere. Okie dokie. Let's get a Plaguecrafter out there. Still waiting for the turn when they deploy a bunch of creatures so I can Golden Demise them. Let's play another Encyclopedia. Just keep reading those books, friends. You may think that the Encyclopedia is for old people and that the internet can replace it, but I gotta tell you, sometimes when you go mono black, you just need that Encyclopedia action. Here they come. And a Tribunal. Ooh, they tapped their creatures. Okay. They're messing with my Encyclopedia. They are. Give me one more card for the road. Another Duress. I may just keep this last treasure lurking instead of drawing the card with it right away. I don't want to have to discard anyway. So we go up to, we're at 8 cards now, we go up to 9, we go down to 8, down to 7. Yeah, we can let it wait. This treasure can hang out like a card in my hand that's not in my hand. We have a Field of Ruin. Making the opponent shuffle at some point with Frenzy out could be funny, but who knows? Who knows if that would ever be legitimately good. I think your tokens go away. And I'm going to hold on this to Duress for a little while longer. Opponent may want to spend their mana blowing up 1 Frenzy because it's not like the mono black deck will ever remove it. Make a stand with no creatures. All to get it off the deck so they can play creatures. The world is a crazy place. Legion War Boss. Let's enter full control mode so that we can kill this before combat happens. Or we could use the Golden Demise, but I like having the Golden Demise in my back pocket. So, first things first. Let's see another card. Might impact the decision. Okay. Oh. Shoot. Shouldn't have taken off full control mode to get the benefit of the auto tap. Well, now I'm a little more priced into a Golden Demise. All right. All right, so we're on 8. We go up to 9. Yeah, we don't want to go to 10 cards right now, so I'll let that wait again. Here's your demise. Aha! But now we're going to have to be much more careful. I suppose I can take my draw this turn, but then I'd have to discard. I have a Duress. I would love to save it, but alas, good choice. Had a feeling something was up in the hand. Well, now we have enough cards that I can draw on my turn, so that I can play something. All right, and more ways to draw cards. We're doing a good job keeping up with the frenzy, that's for sure. Eventually, that luck may run out. We're down to 23 cards. Josu, where are you? Where, oh where, asks Liliana, could my dear brother be? All right. Now I just have an abundance of land, so discarding cards doesn't matter to me too much. Plaguecrafters, all 4 cast downs. Great hand. It's a little weak to, like, too many legendary creatures at once, we might say. Land Vanguard. Our opponent's on 18 cards, by the way. Beats. Okay, so that could make something indestructible. May as well shoot some things. And then a Plaguecrafter can break up the duo. So if it makes the Vanguard indestructible, Plaguecrafter can break it up as long as there isn't another creature, but let's see what happens. No attacks. In combat. And let's take another Arch of Orazca draw. Eldest Reborn. Okay, that's going to be fun. I think we're going to play multiple spells on this next turn. I'll crack my treasure now. Doom Whisperer. Sweet. So, is it worth playing a cast down here so we don't have to play Plaguecrafter? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Well, we can do it all, but then we can't use an encyclopedia. Let's go ahead. Let's fire a cast down off on the bodyguard. May as well use our spells. And just continue to keep their board presence as minimal as we can. Eldest Reborn. Eventually, maybe getting back Karn. We'll see. There might be some other giant angel or something to get. But for now, eating poor little Vanguard. as well as playing a Doom Whisperer, drawing another card with Encyclopedia after their turn. And maybe Doom Whisperer can help us get Josu to the top of the deck, where Josu belongs. The opponent does have a Justice Strike. If they blow up their Frenzy to use it, though, I'm really happy. I have Memorial to Folly, and Memorial to Folly can get the Doom Whisperer right back. I may not want to pay life at all. My opponent could have multiple Banefires still. I think I got rid of 2 of them, but might be a Banefire deck. That's interesting. They blew the Frenzy up, but didn't play the Justice Strike. Now I'm a little uncertain what's coming. Lava Coil, I see. They wish to exile the Doom Whisperer. We can respond by casting down our own Doom Whisperer, so I'm going to let this resolve. And now perhaps we'll see the Justice Strike. Oh wait, if I let it resolve, it will get exiled. That's a big mistake, because now if I cast it down, it will still get exiled. I should have done this in response if I wanted to take that line. Oh well. Let's use the Doom Whisperer a little bit, now that I know it's being exiled forever and ever, amen. And I don't need that. Do we to go deeper? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's too risky. I think it's too easy to be burned out. Keep the cards coming, but now our opponent doesn't have their Frenzy. Oh my lordy. The land. The flood. Goodness gracious. How buried are the cards that we need? As long as it's not literal bottom, we can still do this. I could attack the hand with the Plaguecrafters. Our opponent appears to be sandbagging lands to avoid that. Take a draw now and decide. There you go. There you go. All right. Kick it. Josu plus all of Josu's zombie friends, that is 20 damage. It's a 1-turn swing kill. And they all have Menace. So, opponent's gonna need a lot to block it. They do have, we know about a Justice Strike. They can kill off one of the zombies to buy an extra turn. And here comes a Justice Strike. So is there a way to get a little more damage? There's something over here with haste. There is a Legion War Boss that can do 1 more damage, but we need 2. It's kind of surprising that there isn't much over here with haste. How about Pride Mate? Do I have a way to gain life? No, I don't. Sorry, looking around for my lethal that I might be missing before the internet explodes on me. There's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. I'm going to go get Karn. I think Karn is the best overall pick.
I will fight with honor.
And we'll minus Karn right away and get other Karn. So that if the opponent removes it, I have other Karn and access to 2 cards exiled by Karn. And let's attack with Josu. Response. Okay. Josu down. The soldiers remain. Our opponent did show a Settle the Wreckage earlier in the game. There was a chance of a nasty settle there. I probably should have held the Josu back. All right. Well, we can get Josu back and do it again. Sounds really fun to me. What's better than kicking Josu? Kicking Josu again. All right. Opponent cannot find an answer to the Lich Knight. And we'll take it. This hand has a 2-drop value card, some removal spells, and an Eldest Reborn and 3 lands. It's probably an easy keep. Can't think of a lot of reason to mulligan it. The Golden Demise off the top makes it even stronger against aggressive strategies, so let's see what we are dealing with. Seeker's Squire. And it does draw a land, so stays in Golden Demise range. Nice to see. Let's deploy the Gateway and get that cooking as soon as we possibly can. Midnight Reaper. Well, that's something that has to go. We could sweep them both away. Our opponent could pay 2 life and draw 2 cards. I don't like that. I think instead I'll cast the Reaper down. Perhaps we'll even wait a turn to Contempt it, but I don't like paying 4 life to do that. Let's see what our opponent plays. We can play this at instant speed, so the when is wait for more info. Here's the attack. Yes, let's cast the Reaper down. The opponent will lose a life, draw a card, essentially getting a 2-for-1. It's the way it has to be. But I don't like playing the Golden Demise and essentially giving our opponent a 4-for-1. The Seeker Squire already drew a land and then would draw another card when the Reaper died. Oof. Ugh, you hear the groan? Alright, let's use our Gateway. And I don't think 2 Golden Demises will be needed. I was sketchy about if 1 would be very good against Golgari. The Golgari matchup is really tough, especially if the opponent gets ahead of us with Planeswalkers. If they do, there's very little chance that we can compete, so we have to take them out aggressively. It's too bad also that I can't Plaguecraft this one. Maybe in the future we'll be able to get away with that. We have to not only take out the Planeswalkers, we then have to clear up the creatures and find a way to get ahead on cards ourselves. Basically, our mono black deck is a Golgari deck without as good cards and without as good late game. With worse grinding potential. That's what our deck is. And yeah, it makes the games very challenging. Alright. Eldest Reborn doesn't actually get a lot better than making the opponent sacrifice something weak, like a Seeker Squire, so we may as well play it out as quickly as we can. The opponent will... A Golgari opponent will always have garbage on the field to sacrifice to the Eldest Reborn and the Plaguecrafters, which makes them pretty poor in the matchup. And do you keep a Vraska's Contempt? Looks like they do. So that's something to play around. We'll need to kill off something. Perhaps this Golden Demise can take out some of these Explorer creatures. Still leaves behind a Wild Growth Walker, but they will either have to play more creatures, or maybe we can Plaguecraft the Walker. And, oh boy. Well, that's actually... that's okay. I mean, yes, I'd love more value off the card, but here now we do get a Golden Demise. Plaguecrafter. And if the opponent follows it with a Carnage Tyrant, we can Folly back the Plaguecrafter, so I doubt they will do that. They will try to find more garbage to put on the field. So, can they keep pressure up? They play that land untapped, and yes, they have more pressure. They always have more. The return of the Reaper. I do fear the Reaper. So, I think it's time to exile the Reaper so our opponent doesn't draw a card from the exchange. But we can hold off on the cast down. I don't want to let my opponent untap with the Reaper in case they have some way to sacrifice or kill their own things at instant speed in response to the Contempt. You never know, a play like that might make sense. Also, there's nothing much bigger than the Finebroker to cast down. The only problem is if they have another Finebroker and they can start their Finebroker chain a turn sooner. But if they have another one, they'll get another one back anyway. I still think it's safer to take 3 damage here and use cast down on end step if they do have a Finebroker to do a chain with. Alright. And that's our last card. Our opponent still has 3, so we're in trouble. I do play out my lands with this deck. Always want more lands on the battlefield. I don't want to have to discard it to something stupid like those rats. Although those aren't highly played. This is the arena. You can run into anything in the arena. Memorial to Folly. Yep. Blow that up. I guess we can wait till end step. I don't know how our opponent might use the mana, but we do want... This is what we save our Field of Ruins for in the matchup. And this is where you're very grateful the card enters the battlefield tapped. Okay. If the opponent doesn't have another Assassin's Trophy, this could be very, very useful. And I can't think of anything I'd play on my turn right now for this mana cost, so let's pass. There's the Karn ET. And I'm sure they have an elf or some piece of garbage to play with it. A Seeker Squire or a Branch Walker. Interesting. So I can draw this card and still have Memorial to Folly Plaguecrafter on my turn. I think I will. I'd rather get deeper into the deck. We might even draw another Plaguecrafter, or that is a very good draw. And we get to save our Folly Plaguecrafter line for the future. And now we have a Carnage Tyrant we may be able to get back by the time the Eldest Reborn comes around. Although there's a lot of options. We could Finebroker loop our own Eldest Reborn, for example. Something the opponent, I'm sure, would enjoy doing. Give me another card. You may have picked up that this black deck is grindy. I think that that is a very good description of the deck. All right. This Doom Whisperer will die. It will get Vraska's Contempt, something of that nature. The question is it worth it for me to pay life and set up another great draw with the Doom Whisperer, even though it's going to die? And I think the answer is yes. I think the answer is yes. So here comes the Contempt. Let's see what we can see. Finding Josu Vess is of course a priority, but I don't know how deep I can go for that card. I don't need either of those. There we go. You are coming with me. We have 2 Memorial to Follies. We have all the mana we need to make it happen. If our opponent had a Find Finality, I'm confident we would have seen it by now. But regardless, I think that the play will be to Eldest Reborn the Carnage Tyrant and play the Josu Vess. And if that's all the plays my opponent has, their hand is either lands or removal spells like Cast Down that don't do anything. The Golgari decks have moved to Cast Down more, and it's primarily because of Tocatli Honor Guard, but it does leave them vulnerable against each other, which is interesting. All right, kick it. And the end game is apparent. And we'll see if the opponent can find answers. Vraska's Contempt on the Josu is frustrating. And they have turned into a very answer-heavy Golgari list, you can tell. They have a Molder Hulk in there on top of their deck, Ravenous Chupa, okay. All the stuff. Down here we have still a Plaguecrafter we can get, but I don't think that's very important. Although I don't want to lose the Carnage Tyrant. Interesting also that the opponent kept the Molder Hulk, perhaps planning to block the Carnage Tyrant. Opponent takes a minute to figure out which knight to Chupa. Duress is a bit late. Let's see what we can draw with the Encyclopedia. Okay, so awkward spot. We could trade Carnage Tyrant, or we could use Follies and get back Plaguecrafter and take that off the field. I actually like using my Follies here. It's a little bit right now because if the opponent does find a way to deal with this board, if they can, then not having Follies to get back the last of the Josu Vess might be a mistake. But I think we keep them from being able to trade away with Carnage Tyrant now. We know that they're drawing Molder Hulk. They have 30 life, so they have a little ways to go. Perhaps they forgot about Menace. Yeah, that's how that works. All right, your move. And they should be dead no matter what. With this line, I think without the Plaguecrafter play, they would still be dead or super close to it. But with this line, they're going to be dead no matter what. They can only block one of these, and they can't block all of this. And now Vraska's Contempt. It's kind of just to make your blocking decisions easier. A little extra. But hey, we didn't play the Duress on the empty hand. And there, we did it. We ground through the Golgari list. I would like to thank you very much for watching me and my arena adventures. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope you try the deck and enjoy it. And I'll bring you more decks from that win the Color Pie Challenge and get to 7 wins in Quick Constructed in the future. Thank you very much for watching. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.